What a great house. Good evening, everyone. I'm Josh Strauss. On behalf of all of my colleagues at the Film Society at Lincoln Center, I want to welcome you all to this evening's screening of Richard Lester's The Three Musketeers and our 10-film tribute to Raquel Welch. I started working on this about 8 months ago, and I'm so thrilled that it's come together so beautifully. I could not have done it without the help and support of Julie Nathanson, Raquel's publicist. Our incredible marketing, PR, and special events teams here, led by Courtney Ott and Maria Ruiz. My good friends at 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers, Paramount, MGM, and the Academy of Motion Pictures. I just want to mention a couple of things before we get started. Raquel will be back a little later to introduce 1 Million Years BC, and then she will be back tomorrow in conversation with me, I can't wait, after Kansas City Bomber, and after Hanny Calder, too, with our own John Wildman. So I hope as many of you as possible can come back with for those. So without any further delay, it's my great pleasure to welcome to the Walter Reed, Raquel Welch and Dick Cavett.
Not enough. You'd like to ride on that side?
This was the side I got used to last night.
Ah, okay, good.
I am a creature of habit.
What are about 3 things you wish we didn't know about you?
Oh, God.
I always wanted to ask somebody.
You promised me you wouldn't ask questions.
And you're the only person I know who could handle a dumb question like that.
I got 3 things.
Yeah. But God, we go back a ways, don't we?
Yes. In fact, the last time that I think we were, ensemble was when I was on Dick's show and he was interviewing me. It wasn't the first time.
No, not at all.
And no, but it was quite unusual because he had booked me, Raquel Welch, and Janis Joplin in the same.
Who else?
And I thought, but who but Dick Cavett would ever think up such a pairing on an interview?
I'm not sure I can take credit for that inspired combination, but
No?
I promise you, without exaggeration, 2 months don't go by that somebody doesn't say, I'll never forget when Raquel Welch sat there with Janis Joplin. And sometimes they say, and they really went at each other.
They did. We did
You
not.
didn't?
No. The only thing that I was, how should I say, I was regretful about was the fact that I was such a big fan of hers, and I was sort of in awe, and I never got a chance to tell her that I had seen her at the Hollywood Bowl, that I had seen her in Anaheim performing, because she would never think that I would be a fan of hers. She was looking at me like I was from the moon.
But she liked you. But there was no doubt that you two were different from each other.
No, that's true. That is very true. I like the feather piece in the hair. That I liked a lot.
Terrific. I'm
And
glad
I figured she was drinking Southern Comfort. Am I right?
She was
Sipping.
putting away Southern Comfort at a record rate.
Right.
Yeah, and but I looked at the show on a DVD of the Cavett shows, and there's something I'd forgotten. At one point, it came back from commercial, and you and she must have been talking about a movie role, possibly for her, and you said it's the part of the, in the script, it's the part of the Virgin.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, no, I'm not. I'd love to, but I'm not. And Janis said, a little late for that, honey.
You're making this
Don't you
up.
get
I
it?
never offered her any kind of a part. I never had a script that she could have been in.
People
Why
like
are
to
you making
imagine that
this
you had a
stuff up?
fight on the show. Or that's
No,
ridiculous.
no, really? Why?
Some people disapproved of the fact that on another show of mine with you, the great newscaster Chet Huntley, am I talking to people all too young to know that name?
Yes.
Said, Dick, I enjoy your show, but I came here tonight to meet Raquel Welch. You two never amounted to anything, did you?
Who?
You and Chet Huntley. There was no gossip, no nothing.
No. I didn't even live in New York at the time, so.
I enjoy your book. I've opened it in
thank you
various
very much.
places,
Oh.
and it's almost hard to find a bad page.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, in fact,
because
it's-
I did write it myself.
Yeah, that puts you in
Every word.
That puts you in 1% of show business, I think.
I know, but you know, I just kind of felt like if I didn't have my own voice on the page, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about because you too have a wonderful book out.
This is true.
And I'm sure
eight people agree with you.
and I'm sure that you wrote every single word yourself.
I did. Don't you find that writing, have someone appreciate something you wrote? It's a whole different thrill from appreciating your movie or your TV show or something. It's a different kind
Yes,
of satisfaction.
it is. Yes, because it took you a long time to write that book. Like,
Yeah.
my-
Luckily, I wrote
probably-
it in pieces for the Times Online thing, but
Oh, I didn't. I had to.
I'll tell you one line people
Hustle.
remember from it.
Yes.
There's a piece on Sarah Palin called The Wild Wordsmith of Wasilla.
Uh-huh.
And
Are we going to
somewhere
get
in
into
it,
that now?
Huh?
Are we going to?
Somewhere in it, I said
And
she
somehow
seemed.
this works into Three Musketeers, right?
Yes, that's right. I'll get this in. Somewhere I said she seems to have no first language. I wrote that for you.
Oh, that applies to me? Too? Oh,
Any
well,
good
thank you
line in the
very
book I
much.
wrote for
So
you.
we're
Let's
off
say
to a
that.
rollicking start.
Just to be gallant. This is rather startling, and I wouldn't have thought of this yet, except I just opened the book to a bit near the back, page 244, I think, about sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I had written a piece that began, do you suppose there's a high school in America yet that has a virgin? Thinking of, and you also talk about this, how the times have changed.
Mm-hmm.
How you said that when you got married and were stunned that you got pregnant and scared, and you said, we didn't know much about sex. I didn't even know if we were doing it right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, those were the good old days, weren't they?
Boy, that had to be at least 800 years ago.
Yeah.
My column was based on a headline, fellatio reported on junior high bus. And you talk about that in your book.
Fellatio?
Yes, you do.
I do not.
Okay. Well, could you pretend you do in case I'm making a terrible error? No, you did talk about parents shocked, adults shocked to find.
Oh, to find out that their 13-year-olds were giving blowjobs? Yes.
We're doing, yeah.
But I didn't call it fellatio.
Try to keep it clean. But when I was a kid, I didn't know. I didn't even know that phrase.
Can
I
you
didn't even know what a
believe
bus was at that age.
You didn't know what was where?
I didn't know the F word with the 8 letters that we used a moment ago. I didn't
What
know.
was- what
I didn't
did
know
it
the
say?
phenomenon when I was in junior high, let alone having it done on the school bus. But should we move on to something else for the younger
Yes.
people here?
Let's pull out our swords.
Yeah. It's a hell of a book.
Or you can pull out yours anyway.
How many friends of mine will believe that Raquel Welch said to me, you can pull out yours? Probably 6.
Yes, sir.
There's a hell of a lot for women to learn in your book. And you, I was going to say to you when you first came out, it's been so long since we were together, and remember how young we were, and now only one of us is beautiful.
Oh, that's not true.
I didn't mean me. But you're a miracle of the age. You are one of the wonders of the world. And But you've done it in such a
Thank you very
such
much.
a
I
classy
appreciate
way. Yeah, yeah.
Takes me 9 hours to get ready. You laugh.
You know, do you feel you've been lucky that you've had all the success as in terms, people see it often in terms of breaks? Sophia Loren on the show once, I said, you've gotten so much in your life. And she said, I had a hell of a hard childhood. My mother had a hell of a time, rough time, always getting food. And I haven't been given anything. I work damn hard and I deserve what I've got. And some people
I believe
were
that.
slightly taken aback by that, and then they applauded. Refreshing frankness and attitude. You feel you deserve what you got.
Oh, I don't know if I deserve it because I have had such a beautiful life. You know, I got what I got to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to entertain. I wanted to be on film. I wanted to be on Broadway, all those things. I've always just felt very, very lucky that I was able to do it, that I was able to, as people still do say, getting off the bus in L.A., that I got to break in because it's a very closed little club and it's a very tough game to get into. You know,
Do you have any theory of why we want it general or not at all applause?
And then the other thing that I found out also is that I didn't really know my place once I did break in, because I could see that they were only interested in me because I had a certain body and I had a pretty face and I had a look, and that was, it was good that, that was there, because otherwise I would never have done 1 million years BC. And
no. If you had looked like the late Elsa Maxwell, it might have been different.
but by the same token, I didn't know once I made it into the public eye and the main arena, I didn't know, well, what am I going to do now? I mean, I'm so green. I don't really know that much about filmmaking. I can see that the technique in front of the camera is very much different than what I had done, when I was doing my children's theater and my studies of theater arts in school. It was so different. So
that has to be scary when you go into the studio and these are experienced film actors, and you're not sure what to do. Is that?
Yes, it is. It is very scary. But I have a little story that I hope you won't mind if I tell.
No, I'm here anyway. I love you, but it's not evident, is it? No, please tell it.
No, I really would like to tell the story because it's very interesting. I had been offered this role in Three Musketeers, not to be too on the nose with the conversation, but I just thought, I just thought, I read this script and it was so visual. There was not a lot of dialogue, especially for my character, and I thought, well, I don't quite get it. I would die to work with Dick Lester because he's a genius. And my God, look at this cast. I mean, you get Faye Dunaway and Oliver Reed and Charlton Heston and Richard Chamberlain, Michael York. I'm forgetting somebody, Frank Finley. I mean, it went on and on. Oh, Geraldine Chaplin. And I thought, this is wonderful. This is kind of a role that I would dream to have. I just don't understand this Constance Bonacieux. Why does she fall down all the time? I need to talk. I said, I just don't get it. She just falls, and so I said to my agent, I said, I really need to talk to Dick. Same name as you.
My God.
And I need to talk to Dick Lester.
Two dicks, no waiting. Oh, come on.
And so I said I need to ask him a question before I, really say yes. I'm going to say yes. Don't think I'm not going to say yes, but I just need to talk to him. And so I got him on the telephone. He was very, very gracious, and he took the phone call from me. And I said, I just have one question, Dick. I think it would be great. Can't wait to come to Spain and do this fabulous movie. And this part, Spike Milligan was going to play my husband, and he in Great Britain, and the whatever you call it, the Commonwealth there, they adore and revere Spike Mulligan. He was one of the original Goons. And I don't know if you guys know about the Goons, but they were this wonderful comedy group that, then later on gave birth to Monty Python and on and on. And Peter Sellers was an original Goon and all of this. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, so I'm with Dick on the telephone. I know it's a shaggy dog, but you'll indulge me.
Go, baby.
And so I said, it's just one thing. Why did she fall down? And he said to me these words: there is no reason. I said, there's no reason? He said, just get on a plane, come here, you'll see what I mean. So I go there, there's no reason. And I'm thinking, I'm now getting very nervous and scared and everything. And so I go there and I finally, I say to him, so can you, take me to lunch, or I'll take you or something, and we can talk about why there's no reason and how I should play that. And he said, yes, of course, let's talk about it. He said, well, you see, it's a real slapstick comedy. So I want you to do, nothing.
Well, that's always easy.
No, it isn't.
No.
No, it's not easy.
Not at all.
When the camera's rolling and they say action, and you go, nothing.
You don't feel like you're earning your money.
No, not at all. So he said, well, I said, but you're going to have to help me out here. He said, no, because you got to think about the old silent screen stars and those wonderful comedies. He said, just think Buster Keaton.
Right.
I said, Buster Keaton?
First person that comes to mind when we look at you. Yeah.
So, I'm thinking, I'm supposed to do like that? What? I don't get it. So I go home, I have a sleepless night back at the hotel, and suddenly I had this epiphany upon awakening, and I thought, oh, I know. Not Buster Keaton, he's too dour. I can do this character as Stan Laurel.
Say, Ollie, that's a good idea.
No, because I didn't have we didn't even have to say anything. But right?
Yeah.
No, but because of the naivete of him, and I never had played naive.
But did you ever think that Alexander Dumas wrote a role for you to be Stan Laurel in?
No, but that's what that's pretty much what I thought about all the time. That sort of thing he got with.
Yeah.
Do you remember that sort of thing he had?
I'm not sure that advice. You're getting it. All you need is a derby. Do you know Walter Matthau?
What?
Walter Matthau, you know Walter
Yeah,
Matthau.
of course. Well, I don't know him anymore.
Well, no, but I mean, this ties in. He came on a show once and he said, I learned half of what I know about screen acting from Kim Novak. And I thought to laugh almost.
No.
If he'd said Tippi Hedren, I would have laughed. And he said, we shot my first scene. I'd done 50 plays, never been in a... And after the first scene, she came over and said, Walter, the crew doesn't have to hear you. He didn't know you could play softly on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I hope someone told you that before.
No, it took me a while.
Yeah.
It took me a while because I had to be in movies with people who were really first class, and then I could watch how they did it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that you didn't have to project.
Mm-hmm. But tough for stage actors. May I ask you something I asked another actress?
Certainly not.
Miss Betty Davis.
Oh, love.
And I asked her why she came on the show. I said, you don't like to do this sort of thing, famous for it. And she said, you're a gentleman, Richard, and I feel secure. And so what could I say except, so how'd you lose your virginity, Betty? It's on a DVD. If you want, I won't spoil the answer. But the next show with her, I thought I got to top that. And I said, Betty, who's the worst pig you ever worked with? Shall I show you how the answer went?
Yes, please
Now,
do.
most people, you and I know, can always think of something nice to say about their colleagues, even though they hate them. It went like this. Betty, who's the worst pig you ever worked with? Miriam Hopkins. Just like that.
Really?
So you can either answer that for yourself or we can move to something else.
Yes, you can move to something else. I don't trash my colleagues.
Okay. Hey, you and I had a mutual friend,
Yes?
Mae West.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
So you were a friend
Did a
of hers?
well, actually, that came out. Betty Davis came on the show and she said, I just had the damnedest experience in California. I met Mae West. You've got to meet her. Her hands, they're as smooth as a peeled peach. Everything is in place. She's a witty woman. Of course, the old bag never thought of anybody but herself all her life. How'd you like her?
I liked her fine. I researched her. She wasn't in Three Musketeers, though.
But let me put it. Well, listen, they're going to see the movie. We don't have to tell it to them here.
No, I wasn't going to tell them the
What
story. I
happened-
thought they might like to hear some anecdotes.
What
but never
happened to
mind.
okay, well, despite all,
We
say
can take
again,
questions from the audience.
what happened to the black dress?
Which black dress? Oh, the black dress.
Yeah.
And we're going to Myra? We did that last night.
With Mae West. Oh, I wasn't here. Oh, was
Oh.
everyone here last night? How many were here last night? Hands?
Oh.
Oh, well, the hell with the other people
So
then.
you see, they've already heard this story.
It's a hell of a story.
Yes.
Let's see, where can I refer people who want to know about the black? Yeah, it's in your book. Yeah. Say again. So what? Shoot. Well.
Okay, we have to let this young lady, or where are you?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Ask. Oh, you're not a young lady. Excuse me.
Whatever you are, you may ask your question.
No, but I have to because I invited somebody to ask a question,
okay.
and now there you are. Oh, thank you very much. You're very kind. Thank you. Thank you.
She came all the way from California.
And I did too.
If you hadn't come all the way, you wouldn't be here.
I used to live in New York. I lived here for 10 years. But not anymore. Orgasmic. Fellatio, orgasmic. It's so pungent.
Do you want to turn now and
No.
ask so the rest
No,
of the
darling,
audience
there
can hear
won't be
the?
because they don't, they don't allow you to tape or record any of that. You have to bring in a crew specifically for that, and then it's either done maybe on opening night or whatever, the gypsy run through. They let you do something and then they can run it. But they don't really let you, because the whole thing about theater is it's live. And if people can get it on a kind of recording, they kind of feel like, do you know what I'm saying? We're trying to keep hold of our wonderful live audiences that want to see things happening when they're happening.
Say, looking at you, what an obvious thing to say.
Yes, and looking at you.
Yoga.
Here's looking at you.
Looking at you,
Here's
babe.
looking at you.
Yoga has gotten a lot of bad press lately, and in your
Why?
book you talk about, well, because people have been injured and killed.
Oh, bless their little hearts.
And Raquel, that's a side of you I hadn't seen before.
No, but you get injured doing everything, don't you? I mean,
I don't.
Christmas Day,
Yeah.
I went out to dinner, and I came back home, and I fell down the stairs at my house and broke my foot.
My
Yeah,
God.
it was horrible because all that I could think of being an actress while I was falling was, my God, I've got to shoot next week. And I won't be able to wear those effing high heels.
Something the average person doesn't think when he breaks his foot.
No, that's all I could think of.
Yeah.
And then they said, we'll put you in a wheelchair. I said, no, you won't. No, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out somehow. He said, it's about
you
the
did.
vanity.
Should we be able to tell which foot it was from the way you...
This one,
Ah,
that one.
nice.
The left foot.
But seriously, folks, or whatever, you praise yoga as an important part of your life, and at
It
one
is.
point say, I did it once you started it. You've done it every day since. I think virtually. If not
Well,
literally.
I have pretty much,
Yeah.
yes. I have to say I haven't done it an awful lot in the last couple of months.
But is it for everyone?
You know, I don't think everything is, I don't think it's probably for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that it's a certain kind of a discipline, and I think it's educational. And I think it would be a great thing to teach, especially women, in schools.
Right.
Because I think that it makes you learn about your body and what, you know, about what your particular body can do, how flexible it is, how strong it is, how much balance you have, and all of those things have a correlation up here to the what kind of personality you are. It's quite frankly, it's kind of spooky because it does have that correlation. I mean, if
Yeah.
you are very flexible, I didn't know I was that flexible until I went to yoga, and then I found I was so flexible. And I realized that I was very flexible up here. I was like, really, I could go this way, I could go that way. I mean, I had lots of directions that I could take. And I think if I look back and be very analytical about it, I think that that's helped me survive
Really?
the whole way I started out, because I was able to go on Broadway, and because I was able to sing, and I was able to dance. I studied classical ballet for all those years, never had a chance to use it, and then voila, you know, I got to use it.
Can you verify that it says in one of your biographies that you
One
loved
of my
ballet?
biographies, only one.
What?
Only one biography. The other
No,
one
no,
was
I mean in one of those printed biographies
Oh.
on film parts of the internet and so on.
Oh,
That a ballet teacher told you at an early age, you can't do it. Your body's not good for it.
No, she didn't say that. It wasn't at an early age. It was after 10 years of classical ballet, and I thought I was going to be a ballerina. And she said, Raquel, I'm very, very sorry, but you are never going to be a proper ballerina.
Because?
She said, you don't have, she did say that, though. You're right. She did say, you don't have the kind of a structure of your body and a strength. Your muscle bed isn't right for you to really excel in this. What you should do is you should be a comedian.
You mean looking at your body made her laugh?
No, but she was right about me, because I'd studied there with Irene
Yeah.
for 10 years, and so she knew me, and she felt like I would be much better doing sort of popular moves like jazz and contemporary dance, and that I should study that, and that I should lean towards comedy. I shouldn't try to be Maria Tallchief or, you know, even somebody in the corps de ballet.
So it's possible not to have the body for ballet, but to have it for... I don't want to hear any criticism of your body, frankly. They'll have to come to me if they're going to criticize it.
I'll tell you one thing, this dress is
What's it?
not allowing me to sit very
I didn't even notice that.
demurely. I'm sorry. I asked them, I thought they said director's chairs, but I didn't think director's chairs were down like this. I thought they were up, and I could perch instead of sit. And this is sort of puffing out, and it's very distracting for me.
Once on the Jack Parr show, Zsa Zsa
Getting
Gabor
deeper
came
and
on.
deeper. Let me
What?
move them to the
What?
side. Dress them, you know.
You need any help? Well, I'm sorry, that was crude.
Yes.
These are some notes I made on your book. So we're going to be here for a couple of more hours.
Oh.
I just turned ballet, body no good.
My body was not good for ballet.
No
I
good,
loved
bad
it,
for-
though, and it gave me so much. Gave me so much. I love it.
The two sex symbols of two eras in this show, in the movie business, have been, two of them have been you and, of course, Mae West in her time. How, never asked you this, how do you see your sex symbolism as different from Marilyn's?
Night and day, isn't it?
It's different.
Oh
I
yes,
can't
it's
put my
so
finger
different.
exactly-
I mean,
yeah.
we're so different. And I
Yeah.
adored her when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I used to just get all of the. Well, actually, I didn't get them because I wasn't allowed to have movie magazines at my house. We only had Serious, Time, Life. Saturday Evening Post. We didn't have any rags, trash.
Really, not in
you
the
know,
Tejada
periodical.
household.
No, my father, my mother, no. But I had a girlfriend, Kathleen Pemberton, and I used to go to her house, and she had stacks of these things, and we just sit on the floor, with Marilyn Monroe and Tony Curtis, and and it was all so much fun. And I loved her. I thought she was, hypnotic. You couldn't stop looking at her. And of course, I kept thinking, well, I'm sure not like that. I'm nothing like her. Nothing like her. There's not one iota, nothing like her. So I didn't think that I was going to have a shot.
Because you were that different.
Because I was
Yeah.
so different, and I
Yeah.
thought everybody wanted blondes. And, but then I did take heart when I would see Ava Gardner and eventually Sophia Loren, and people that I saw were more Mediterranean type of look. I mean, I don't know what Ava Gardner's real bloodlines were, but she had more, she was a brunette and she had a sensuality. So I
To
thought,
each his own.
there might be room to sneak in, in that department.
When you
And
sorry,
no, go.
when you were on a show, a frequent reaction was, "Who knew she was intelligent?" Why do we have to assume that beauty and other things that start with B in sex symbols? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, you do.
Why is there a resentment that you could have not only the gift of beauty but also brains?
Well, I have to cut these people that didn't think I, was very smart some slack, because in Fantastic Voyage, which was the first movie that I did for Fox, my first major film, I didn't have anything to say but oxygenation, just about. Oxygenation. I had to write it on the top of a piece of furniture in the scene because I couldn't think oxygenation. That was all I had to do. But I did have a crush on Stephen Boyd. Ooh, he was so hot. He was so not interested in me. No, truly. I tried to seduce him one time.
You never did that to me.
You didn't have one of those
What-
clefts in the chin.
Was it real?
Of course. No,
'Cause-
but if you want to hear a great funny story that I don't normally tell about Stephen, is I was so smitten with him, and I would come, I was so excited every day. I would come on the set and it would be Stephen. Oh God, so cute, and he would have that. Well, I guess it was a Welsh brogue or Scottish brogue. I think it was Welsh, and he had that brogue, and he was so charming. So finally, my first trip to New York, where we opened the movie here. We were both staying at the Plaza Hotel, and I thought, now's my chance. So we had Daryl Zanuck took us all out to dinner at 21, and on the way back, we shared a cab. Hi. So I thought, and I said to him as we're going up in the lift, so Stephen, would you like to come in for a drink? And we got out of the lift and walked me to my room, and he said, I'd like to tell you a little story. He said that was told to me by John Gielgud when I was working in the National Theater. And he said, and you have to think about it a moment, but then you'll get my drift. I hope you get my drift. He said, an actress is a little bit more than a woman, but an actor is a little bit less than a man.
It's wonderful. Did Gielgud
And I
say
thought,
that?
well, wait, what's he saying? He's not interested in me. I am the wrong sex.
Oh my God.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Please, nobody put that in the paper, because honestly, if you're here, because honestly, he was such a love, and he's not here anymore. Of course, a lot of people,
No.
I'm sure, in the National Theater knew, but
I must say that's the saddest story I've ever heard in my life.
No, but isn't that a wonderful saying?
It is a wonderful
I think it is, especially in the British theater. Can't you just?
Yeah.
I mean, John Gielgud. Such fun.
Do you have any more like that? I could listen to that sort of thing.
Well, but that was one of the first big movies I did with a big star like that.
Yeah.
And you know, he almost did Cleopatra with the great Elizabeth Taylor.
Did he, in fact?
Yes, but then she got ill, and he couldn't wait because he had another project, and in marched Richard Burton.
Well, I guess her life
Ta-da.
would have been different with Boyd than with Burton.
Very, very, very different.
Brilliant observation on my part.
I did a movie with Richard Burton.
You what?
I did a movie with Richard Burton.
No.
Not a very good movie. Did you see that?
Bluebeard.
Oh, did you? You guys are diehard fans. How sweet. I
yes.
love that. I was crazy, wasn't I?
There are people here who have heard of you, believe me.
No, but I did this really odd thing. I didn't know whether I should let them show it here or not because I did such a strange performance in that. But it was very gutsy. And I thought, well, maybe I should let them just see how whacked out I am. I was, I was like, woo, anything goes. And I played a nun. Mm-hmm. It was funny, wasn't it?
The most obvious casting I can think of.
I know, a nun. Isn't it fun? So fun. Well,
By the way, Bedazzled is not in this series, is it? I like that.
yeah, but thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peter Cook and Dudley Moore are two of the funniest people in the
the
history of
best.
the world. But as we know, funny people are not always fun to work with. Were they?
Oh, God, they were so funny. Oh,
I
Dick,
know.
I can't tell you. It was hysterical every day on the set. I mean,
Sure.
and when we went to the rushes, it was unreal. It was these two guys, they were like brothers or something. They just, they could finish each other's sentences, and they were hysterical.
Comedy just poured out of them.
Everybody was in stitches all the time, and they were both very attractive, I thought, in totally different ways.
They should have shot all of that and issued it along with the movie.
Yes, but it was also Stanley Donen, Stanley Donen of Charade and Two for the Road and all of that, and the great musicals that he did for MGM. I mean, he was one of the quintessential great directors of the big studio movies, and such a
I'm lucky
wonderful guy.
to know him. I asked him once, Bedazzled was remade, wasn't it? And he said,
Yes.
yes. They came to me and said, can we do it? I said, absolutely not. Get out.
really
And then they told me what they were paying, and I said, fine.
cute.
He's a hell of a guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I have to say, I thought Elizabeth Hurley did a fantastic job in the remake of Bedazzled. I really did. I thought she did a phenomenal job. And of course, it was in many ways a much better part because there was more to do. And it was a major role, whereas mine was like a cameo. And that stupid accent I did, God. Well, you like everything I do. So that's not good. You have to be more discerning.
More critical.
You have to, but thank you for loving me. I love you too. But oh my God. Good morning, Mr. Moon. Hot buttered buns. Oh God. Really?
I simply must ask you this. Do you mind?
Not at
Awfully.
all. Carry on.
You do good accents, by the way. You're not just chopped liver, Raquel.
Why, thank you. What kind of liver am I?
You are an amazing wonder.
I'm so
saw
much
an
older
article
than
years ago where you said allegedly said, unless I just heard it, that you had spent hours in the sun, and here you are, not a wrinkled old bag. Those two don't go together.
Well, I think that when you have Latino blood, I'm
Kate
half
Moore.
Latin. You don't burn like
that's right.
white people. Excuse me. We are not a race, but we kind of are. My father was from Bolivia, and my father was very sensitive about about us, the kids, getting too dark.
Yeah.
And he used to say, wear a hat to the beach, wear a hat to the beach. And I go, I don't wear a hat to the beach. You know, I mean, I grew up in La Jolla, and it was all the surfers, and you didn't wear hats to the beach, you know. Came in your little bikini, and you did the thing where, it's high school. So you don't want to be there with a hat when nobody has a hat. So I didn't wear a hat, and so there I was. And it didn't really hurt my skin. But that was only up until the time I was, graduating high school. After that, man, I just slathered the moisturizer on. I thought, no, those days are over.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I wear a hat just to go out for a walk.
Had it,
Oh, yeah, big. Big Greta Garbo, huge umbrella.
Looked like
that
a
I wear
tent
during
coming
the
along.
street, huh? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I even tell my little trainer, she's got the cutest ass you can imagine. But anyway, I have a trainer, and I say to her, Ashley, you cannot go out without a hat. I said, now, I don't know how old you are, but I mean, like late 20s, early, you cannot do this. So I have hats for her.
That's good.
Well, I'm trying to save her, because you don't get it until you're a little older. I'm sorry.
I got a horrible sunburn in Florida years ago. It was college time. I went to a dermatologist there, just awful sunburn. And he said, if women knew what the sun does to their skin, they would never allow a ray of it to hit. As in Japan, where mother and daughter look the same age, because the moment the sun is out, the parasol goes up. Why haven't Americans been taught this? Melanoma is on the increase every year, it seems.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not an area, I'm so sorry to admit this, but it's not an area that fascinates me.
Do you talk about the sun in your book, or do you advise women to go out and get all the sun
No,
they can?
I think we should all spend some time in the sunshine. It's got
Apparently
a
we
lot
need
of
some
vitamin
sun.
D,
Yeah.
and it makes you feel good, and it makes, you've got to live your life. You can't constantly just be thinking about how you're going to age. It's just too much for TV, it's just too much.
Yeah.
And so I believe you can go out. I still go and bake on my holidays. I mean, my idea of a holiday is to go near the sea, very zen, not a lot of people around, and books and stuff, read, and lie out in the sun. I just don't, this top part here to there, that doesn't get any sun.
Yes.
Because these and all this, that can't get any sun anymore.
Poor Katharine Hepburn got much too much sun.
She probably did, but then she did a lot of other things that
And she
sort
had
of
red
got
hair
rid
and
of
white
it.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah, she was red hair. She was a Yankee.
A Yankee.
That's what she used to call herself, isn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How great.
What's your daughter do?
What does my daughter do? Well, she's an actress.
Yeah.
She hasn't worked for a while. I don't think she likes that too much.
That's how we know she's an actress.
No. Well,
Yeah.
she's a beautiful, beautiful girl, and she's
Yeah.
a very, very talented actress.
Yeah.
And I so wish that we could see more of her, because even though she is not 20 or 30, and I won't say how old she is, but she's getting up there, she looks like, I swear to you, she looks like, not a day over 30. I mean, she looks like a very good 30. And it is a very tough business in so many ways. I don't want to cry the blues, but it is really, really a biatch. It's just tough, tough, and it takes. You have to kind of keep your hand in it, don't you think? Because otherwise you lose. What is that? You lose your edge. You can't just pick up and say, oh, okay, now I'm going to go in front of the cameras, or I'm going to go in front of You cannot do that.
I'm impressed with how many veteran actors.
CSI Miami, I just did that.
Yeah. Is it all right for us up here to talk? I'm impressed with how many veteran actors still go to class, still take acting classes. Some of them said, you have to. As you said, you got to keep your hand in. It
I think you
can't
have.
put it in the drawer and pull it out next
Yes.
time you get a job, I guess.
Well, I found that the older I get, the better actress. I shouldn't say that, because that'll bring me bad luck. But that the better actress I am. I don't think, You know, when I said I was looking for my place, I felt like the reason I didn't know my place and where I should be in the business is because I didn't know myself well enough, you know. I was a single mother of a couple of kids when I first came to Hollywood, and then I found myself being a sex symbol, which just didn't compute at all. And there's a little schizophrenia going on there. You know, I'm this to the public, and I'm here, something else up here, and then I'm a mother. And I just did not know who I really was. And now I just feel like since I hit 40, it's just really a much... Last week, I just felt like I finally came into my own, and I felt comfortable in my own skin, and I wasn't, you know, Vittorio De Sica, the great, I don't know, you know who he is. He's fabulous and
That Vittorio De Sica.
very esteemed, yes, Italian director who did a lot of Sophia Loren's movies, and I think very much kind of was her mentor as an actress, which was a great, great thing. And one time I had the pleasure of working with him, unfortunately not as a director, this is my luck, you know, but as an actor. And he came to me one day and he said, "My darling, why are you trying to change your voice?" Because I was trying to push my voice down and be more like into the body. And I said, well, some people said that I talk too high a pitch. It comes out my little nasal and all this, and I should. And he said, you must always remember, the defect is very important. Do not try to be perfect.
Aha.
And that was a fabulous thing that he said to me, because from that point on, I knew, okay, everything that I think is not right about me, you know, that I'm kind of not middle of the road enough, and I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of pretty, but I'm kind of unusual looking, you know.
Yes.
I am. And just everything that, I just have to not think about any of that and just let that be.
You don't have to be perfect.
No, I do not have to be perfect. Nobody has to be perfect.
God, I wish someone had told me that years ago.
I know, but isn't it wonderful?
It is. It's a wonderful thing to say and to hear, certainly for an artiste to hear. Who
Yeah, and
worried
especially from
constantly
Vittorio, because he was so. They used to call him Il Commendatore, and he was so great. And he used to come and sit down in his chair, and he always had like a fedora on. He was always very extremely elegant, and he'd sit down and then immediately fall asleep. And the hat brim would be down there, and then they'd come and they'd say, Commendatore, and he would go, Si.
That's good.
You know, like.
I wonder if you know.
Loved
I would
it.
have thought De Sica was sitting there. That's perfect.
No, sorry.
I wonder if you know a sweet story.
None.
Not one?
Not one.
This one touches actors. Miss Monroe, who often comes up in connection with your name, as it did already this evening.
Because we're nothing
wh-
alike, and that's the only reason.
What?
Because we're nothing alike, and that's the only reason. But I do like this latest movie that came out, and I do think that Michelle Williams did a spectacular job.
Yeah.
Don't you all?
Isn't that something? She was a huge star, and yet she would come back to New York and take lessons at the studio class with Strasberg. But you must know this.
I do.
One day they assigned her a scene with a 17-year-old young unknown actor, and he went home, and they both were learning their lines, and the phone rang, and he said, yes. He said, hello, Tom? Yeah. This is Marilyn. You know, Marilyn from class. Isn't that nice?
Marilyn from class.
That's better.
Marilyn from class.
Now be careful, you'll stick that way, as mothers say when when you
No.
make a
I mean,
face or something.
wasn't she just so incredible?
Did you meet Marilyn?
I never did, no.
No.
She died when I was sort of on my way to New York.
Mm-hmm.
When I didn't even make it to New York because I ran out of money and then had to come back.
Yeah.
And it was very shocking and very, very sad. It was like, I mean, it was impossible to believe. I mean, what was she, 36? 36. I mean, outrageous, really.
And Janice was 26.
26, yes, that's right. Oh,
Why did they OD?
I really don't know.
People
I
in
mean,
the
I didn't
business.
know that Marilyn had that kind of a problem. I think a lot of people knew that Janice liked to
You-
party.
Mhm.
Like to party. But God, that voice of hers and how courageous she was on the
Mm-hmm.
stage. I mean, nobody ever sounded like her.
Yeah.
I never heard any woman sound like that before. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, it was shocking. It was like, it's a force of nature, really, wasn't? Did you called her that on the show? I think.
Called
you
her
said, You're
what?
like a force of nature. I think you said that to her.
Did I? Oh hell! And I used it on you tonight. You must think I've said
You
that to
didn't
everybody.
Say that. Well, you've forgotten. It wasn't me. It was her.
Oh, okay. Well, I always get you two confused.
Yes, I know.
I could tell you apart. Do you like to do this? Do you enjoy? There are actors who would die before they would sit in front of an audience like this and talk and pull their dress down and
Well,
and
the
let
chairs
people-
should be chairs. It should have been like so it'd be like that. So not like this, all squat.
God, I'm learning a lot here tonight.
This is a standing dress. It's
Can we
Dolce
send-
Gabbana standing dress.
Oh God! Can we send off for some suspenders? I mean,
They got a whole rigging in there.
I got to tell you this because you could use it at a time like this sometime.
Yes.
The old Jack Parr show. I was a writer of Jack. And Zsa Zsa came on one night with much, much too much showing for the NBC censor.
Yes, we used to have those.
And they
people,
said
censors.
they got a chunk of net, and they made her put this piece of net across there.
Yeah, they did.
Jack could ad lib, and while she was talking, the piece of net slipped, and Jack said, "Zsa Zsa, your net's not covering your gross."
Oh, that's great. That's
You
a
may have
keeper.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, people have probably forgotten it by now. Do you go out and tour for your book? Do you go through any of the agony
I
of a book
did.
tour? And
I did do all of that, but I don't do it now. It's in paperback,
Yeah.
and I mean, and I'm sorry to say, but publishing is not in its heyday at this point because it's just
I could tell you.
and they can't really. The book companies can't send you everywhere like they used to send people around. So you get very limited, and you end up coming to New York where you've got national press and you can hit a lot of markets. You can do some, what do they call it, the satellite media tours, and
Yeah.
then you do it for a lot of different shows, and then you do one that's sort of a generic one, and they send it out across the country, that kind of thing. But you can't do the touring so much.
Yeah, I
I
did
love meeting people, though.
Yeah, you do.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It was.
But
Yes, and it was bestseller. Yay.
Does writing come easy for you? Is it some writers, say you don't have any idea what drudgery the writing life is, and
It is.
others. Are you a born writer, or did you have to learn it?
I always liked to write in school. I was always, I liked words, and I liked expressing thoughts, and I liked to be as precise as I possibly could with words when I was doing any of my things at school. And I would sometimes do several drafts and be up quite late. I don't know. And that particular thing that I did, that I liked literacy, I sort of left that behind, and I didn't remember any of that. And then all of a sudden, somebody said to me, "You should do a book and tell some of these stories and tell about this. The people don't know you."
Yeah.
And I thought, you're right. People don't know me. They just see me in those movies, and they're so the different characters are so changeable. I wasn't like Marilyn that had a persona that they used over and over and over again. You never know what you're going to get when you walk into the Raquel Welch film. What's she up to now? You know, because I didn't come along in those wonderful movie making days when they had the star systems and they decided, you know, I mean, Betty Davis was basically Betty Davis. I mean, maybe she changed her eyebrows and did funny things like that. You know, when what was that thing that she did? Was it Now Voyager or something that she did the big eyebrows for a while? I don't know.
When she's the clumsy
When
daughter
she's
with the
ugly
thick,
one.
bushy eyebrows.
She's supposed to be the ugly one, yeah. But then she
and in
becomes
the
a
end
swan.
is
Yeah,
like-
but she was always Betty Davis and all those stars, and even today, to this day, Jack Nicholson's always Jack. I love Jack. Who
Right.
doesn't love Jack? But who the hell knows what I am? You know, I don't.
That's true.
They never used Mimi in anything, so nobody can say, oh, you know, that's a persona.
Whatever you are, it's enough for me.
Well, so
By the way,
Raquel?
there's a man with a hook over there who
Raquel, it's Josh.
apparently.
We
Hi,
have to.
Josh.
We have to start the movie.
oh, okay.
Have we delighted you
Yeah.
long enough?
We do. We have to start the movie, though. We do.
Okay, well, I hope you do enjoy it
Let me-
because
let me
it's a
think.
wonderful film.
Wait a minute. I just have one thing to say. Thank you for being so generous tonight with everybody here. And thank you for being born in my lifetime.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
And thank you so much for coming to present me
Oh, I was in the neighborhood
Here.
anyway.
at Lincoln Center. It's a great honor to have this film retrospective here.
We're sorry there won't be time for the movie as we talk so long. Thank you. Now give us applause so we can get the hell off stage.